Hey everybody, welcome to the Premium Picks Bet Show for UFC Fight Night, Nasruddin Imavov versus Roman Dolidze. Earlier in the week, we gave you our predictions. This is strictly our favorite bets on the card. As I said earlier, just getting over pneumonia, so the graphics aren't what they usually are, but we'll be back to normal next week. But let's give you our favorite bets for the card, and let's get into it. First fight of the night, we got... Oh, I'm sorry, guys. First fight of the night, we got Thomas Peterson versus Jamal Pogues. As I said earlier, I still like Pogues, the underdog. I think Peterson stinks. If you want a really safe pick, I think the over 1.5 coming in at minus 250 is like a parlay piece. Like, I think Peterson is the grinder. He wants to take him down. And if he does that, he's going to make it a long, boring fight. And even though I like Pogues, the underdog is the better striker. He's not a big one-punch knockout guy. So I think either way, this is going long. A risky pick is the dog plus 130. The safe pick is over 1.5 minus 250. That's all I really see for that fight. What do you see?
I think this fight overall is like a pass, to be honest with you. It's a tough fight to call, but I've been watching a lot of Peterson this week, and he looks really aggressive with the ground game. So I kind of switched it up. I think he does have a good chance because Pogues has shown that he can be controlled, right? Mick Parkin did a good job in his first, I would think that was his first fight in the UFC. And in that second fight in the UFC, Mick Parkin didn't look half as good as he did against Jamal Pogues. So I kind of like Peterson on the money line at 160. Um, Inside the distance, I'm not too sure about, but if I saw that contender series fight, this fight might be on the ground quite a bit. So a poke at Peterson by sub at plus 550 isn't a bad look. I don't think any of these guys they'll tire as the fight goes on, so I don't know about the TKO on the ground, but the subs open there and plus 550 seems reasonable.
So Pogue actually is supposed to have a wrestling background. I've never seen him wrestle, so like I can't trust it or not. But I'm just
I know.
hoping that with that background, maybe he can keep it standing. But no
What?
confidence, zero
I
confidence.
know what you mean, but like he's undersized, right? For heavyweight, to be honest with you. He should be a light heavyweight, and this might be the fight that he gets just wrestled because he's going to be undersized here. He's going to be the smaller guy by a lot, right? So unless he can stop the takedowns and stay the outside, it's a tough ask when you're the smaller guy. We'll see that as the fight card progresses. But yeah, that seems to be a theme here.
All right. Moving on, we got Markel Mederos coming in 8-1 versus Landon Quinonez 7-2-1. These odds are almost a pick 'em, and I agree with it. I just have no real confidence in this. I do think Mederos is supposed to be the hotter prospect, but he's not proven at all whatsoever. He appears well-rounded, but not really like a specialist in anything. I do still think he's going to win, but just no confidence, no real bet here that's standing out to me. For me, this one is going to be a pass. What do you see?
I think it actually goes to decision between these two guys. Quinones, he has the UFC experience, albeit one fight. And he looks very hittable in his fights, right? So, but Medeiros, he looks very like not technical in his striking. It's more wild. And so, like, Medeiros, I mean, not Medeiros, Landon, the only two fights he's ever lost is by decision. The last one and one previous to that. So, Medeiros might be able to outwork him. Landon has a good heart. And it's funny that Medeiros such a he's the favorite, but he's plus 320 to win the decision, and Landon's plus 250 to win a decision. I find that weird. Mederos is the prospect. He's the favorite, but he's supposed to finish this guy that's never been finished. So that's where I stand on that.
All right. Moving on, we got Julija Stoliarenko, 11-7-1, coming in against Luana Carolina, 9-4. Carolina plus 110, Stoli minus 138. I actually like the Stoli money line's not bad at minus 138. I like her submission line at plus 175 because that's generally her method of winning is the armbar or the submission. So I like the sub line plus 175. And if you think Carolina can keep it on the feet, Carolina's only way to win is decision. She's coming back at plus 190. You could do the Luana decision plus 190, the Stoli sub plus 175. I think those are your two most likely scenarios here. I will be on the Stoliarenko side. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm the same with you here. I like Stoliarenko here because Luana, like we talked about in an earlier video, she has decent takedown defense, but has been taken down in every fight. So, and we all know Julia only needs one. She only needs one to finish this fight, right? So, and she doesn't mess around on the ground though. Like the thing, she doesn't sit and guard and then just try to She just goes right for it. So, I'll give her some. The urgency on the ground is great. Yeah, I don't think she wins a decision though, if it gets that far. And the plus 175 on the sub, man, just for like the one thing, it seems like it's just not enough meat on the bone. I know it's her thing. Like, don't get me wrong, but like you would hate that she somehow wins by TKO, like our friend Jillian Robertson there, and you're sitting there with a sub ticket, and the sub ticket didn't even give you plus 300 or better. So, I mean, I think minus 138. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, moving on. We've got Blake Bilder, 8-1-1 versus Zhang Young Lee, 10-1. These odds are very close. Lee's coming in as a slight favorite, minus 150 right now. Bilder's coming back at plus 125. If you've watched our videos, we're not big on Bilder. I'm still not. I do think he can win the fight. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it's going the distance. It's plus 100 to go the distance. Bilder, one thing he is he's fairly tough. So I think he's going to hang in there. And if he's to win, he's not like a big puncher either. So again, I think it's going the distance. I don't know if I'm going to be betting plus 100, but it's probably a pass. But that's all I really see is I like the overs and I like it goes the distance. What do you think?
I think Ji Young stole the last fight he was in against that Zhang Ji guy. And like I really think he stole it. Like he didn't do anything for 3 rounds. Anything. I don't know. Bilder's got all the experience from what I saw from Jung in that last fight, where he was a huge favorite. I don't know. Bilder by decision is plus 320. That seems freaking amazing if you're on the Bilder side. The other guy seems a little durable. Bilder seems durable enough that this does go the distance. So your plus 100 is good. But to further that plus 100, I think plus 320 on Bilder, it's not bad. That's not bad at all. If you're on the Bilder side, I don't think he finishes this guy because he's too wild and this guy seems like durable enough, right? I mean, I think he only has the one loss anyway, if that, and it was by a decision. So, yeah, go Bilder plus 320. I feel like it's fair odds at that price.
Worth the stab.
Yeah, at least.
All right, and that brings us to Themba Gorimbo, 11-4, coming in against Pete Rodrigues, 5-1. Gorimbo is a pretty sizable favorite here, minus 250. Pete Rodrigues plus 200. I saw a lot of comments in our last video and even on the forums here. A lot of people seem to be on the Rodrigues side. I can't get there personally. I think he's just a power punching brawler. I think Gorimbo's the better athlete, and I think he'll be able to grind him out. And just Rodrigues hasn't been active enough for me to have any confidence in him. That being said, I hope Rodrigues wins. I find Gorimbo extremely boring, so I'd love to see a Rodrigues knockout. I just don't think it's going to happen. I do think Gorimbo grinds him. The Gorimbo submission decision line, minus 150, not great. I don't like any of the plays here. So I get the stab on the dog. I think if Pete's to win this fight, it's because he starches him. So you could probably get a lot bigger value on a Pete knockout or something like that. But I think Gorimbo grinds him out. Don't like it. What do you think?
I'd probably pass this. I was actually on Gorimbo really hard. Then I watched some tape. I guess Pete's okay when he does get to weight and when he does fight, but like let's not forget that he's taking this fight at short notice, right? So essentially, I don't know what's going to happen. The Gorimbo sub by itself is plus 125. If I didn't think Julia Stoliarenko, who is plus 175, was enough meat on the bone, and all she does is sub people, plus 125 is a shitty line for a submission, right? So that's a pass for me for sure. I mean, if you like the Gorimbo side, I don't see this going all the way to the decision because I think Pete's going to either gas out or starch him. Plus 300 for a Pete knockout is probably the best play on this fight.
Yeah, worth a shot. All right, moving on. We got Charles Johnson coming in 13-6 plus 200 underdog versus Azat Maksum 17-0 coming back at minus 250. I hate the minus 250 here. I think Johnson has a way of making fights close. Yes, I think he'll probably lose. I mean, he's shown he's quite easily taken down. Decent at getting back to his feet, and very good chin. So to me, he always makes it the distance. So you got the Maksum submission decision line minus 175. It's only 75 points better. I don't like it. I just don't really like any of the props here. I think at Azat, whatever, I think he wins, but I think it's going to go long, and I don't really see anything I like. What about you?
I think everyone has a bad taste in their mouth after his last fight. That's the problem, right? You got to take these things fight to fight. If you don't realize that Tyson Nam was never taken down before that fight against Azad, and he took him down twice, realize that that actually happened. Realize that he actually shot 11 takedowns in that fight. So, like, those are good numbers for a guy that wants to grapple. Charles Johnson isn't a guy that wants to grapple. So, I mean, I mean, the fact that Azat wants to take down a guy 11 times, even though Charles Johnson probably makes it up 9 of those times, he'll be controlled for the rest of those times. So, I like Azat by decision plus 105. I like him Azat in the over 1.5 at minus 138. And I like, if you want to separately do the sub line at 450, I do think that is possible, but I really like the decisions and the overs a lot more than the submission. The submission is just to cover, like, I don't think Charles will get knocked out or TKO on the ground. The submission is to cover anything else that happens, right? So, but if you just take Maksum in the over 1.5 at minus 138, you cover all those possibilities.
I was going to say, I think that's the best value. The decision wasn't that many more points. So I like the over 1.5. I don't think he subs him like Mokayev didn't. I don't think he will, but I do like that 1.5 line though. That's a good line.
Yeah.
All right. And that brings us to our last prelim of the night. We got Molly McCann coming in at minus 275, which I think is crazy, versus Deanna Belbita, 15-8, coming back at plus 230. Obviously, Belbita is not great. I'm not going to stand here and try to convince you that Belbita is great. She's not. She's just I think they like her because maybe one, because of her looks, two, because she does have heart. She does have good cardio. She does come to fight. She doesn't throw hard shots, but puts up a good pace, good volume. And McCann, I just don't trust. I don't trust her gas tank. I don't trust that her heart's truly in it anymore. I think if McCann wants to win, I know as crazy as it sounds, I think she should be shooting the takedown and pounding her from the top because she's the bigger, stronger woman. So I think she has to bully her to win this fight. For me, this is dog or pass. At these odds, it's dog or pass. If it was a pick'em, I could see value on that McCann side. At these odds, it's Belbita for me. Yeah, dog or pass is all I see. What about you?
So when they fought the first time, and this again is the rematch no one ever wanted to see. And when they did fight the first time, it was like she was like 23. So she was a young cat. And now look at them about 4 years later, and she's 27. Molly McCann's sitting around 33. Molly is the part of her career where she's actually contemplating retirement after getting her ass kicked in fights. And Belbita, slowly but surely, has shown that she's actually getting better every fight. She, like you said, she's not the greatest, but every time you see her come out, she came out against Kovacevic last fight, took her down twice. Actually, you thought she was going to get blasted out of the water. So if Kovacevic is a minus 150, and I looked this up, Kovacevic is a minus 150 against Belbita in her last fight, how the frickin' hell is Molly McCann minus 250 in this fight against Belbita when Kovacevic would wipe the floor with Molly McCann at this point in their career? I would go to bat to say that anyone can put whatever they want in the comments. I'll go to town and say that Kovacevic would wipe the floor with Molly McCann. So I think his odds are completely off. But I don't believe in Molly McCann. And I honestly think that Belbita's game has actually gotten a tiny bit better. And who's done the improving over the years? Not Molly. It's been Belbita. So plus 225. Just chalk it up to women's MMA. Take the dog or the pass. Belbita has a 6-inch reach advantage. I think it is somewhere around the 5-6 inch mark. So plus 350 on the decision. She's not going to finish Molly unless she taps her out. I can't see that. I cannot see that happen. This isn't our dog Erin Blanchfield out there. This is Belbita. But I definitely think she's not going to get stuck on the ground like a fish out of water like the first time. If Molly thinks she's just going to go in there and beat her like the first time, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I just see Molly gassing late and her taking over later in the fight.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Molly's. It's not like Molly's wrestling's anything to write home about.
No, definitely not. All right, guys, that brings us to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. We appreciate it. First fight of the main card, we got Gilbert Urbina 7-2 versus Charles Radtke 8-3. These odds have stayed pretty consistent all week. Urbina is the slight favorite. Urbina's much bigger. He's tall, very, very long fighter, should be the much better striker. I don't love his takedown defense. I've seen him scooped and just thrown around before, and that is Charles' game. So it could definitely happen. Personally, I don't really like either of these guys, so I don't know if I'd really want to put my money on either of them. Urbina should be able to light him up on the feet. I'm not convinced that it's going to stay there. I just don't see anything I like here odds wise. Is anything standing out to you?
I think Urbina wipes the floor with his face. Like I'm not a big Charles Radtke fan. Like I want
No,
to.
neither. I'm not a fan of either of them.
No, man, what he's supposed to be this takedown guy, whatever. He's gonna hold up Blood Diamond on the side of the fence. Like, doesn't that's an IQ thing? And then come out like he won the Super Bowl in his post fight speech, like that was the best fight ever. Why are you booing me or whatever? I can't remember. It was pretty actually bad. I thought he was gonna get canceled. I thought Dana was gonna cancel him after that. To be honest, quite honest with you, I can't even remember. Like, I remember you telling me to go. He's like, go watch this guy's post
He's
fight.
not popular enough to be saying what he said.
Let's put it that way. Like Bilder is more popular than he is to say that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
shit, right? So whatever. I like the Urbina. I like the Urbina, just the regular money line at -188. I don't see Radtke, like he's not gonna do it. I know you said he could take him down. Radtke should have taken down Blood Diamond, but as IQ said, he's not going to take down Blood Diamond. What's going to make this guy any better to hold Urbina up at this? I just don't think Urbina is as less well-rounded as Blood Diamond could just get held up, right? You know, Blood Diamond, he lets people push him around and stuff like that. At least Urbina came out his last fight and showed what he's actually about. You know what I mean? So I think Urbina by KO, one or two. I'm not too sure which one it is. You pick or choose if you want to choose around, but Urbina by KO is +260. I'm gonna probably parlay his money line and lose, but hey,
All right, good enough.
them's the breaks.
It's a weird fight to be on the main card, anyways. To be honest.
Yeah, I think it's a show spot for Urbina. To be honest, if you play DFS, this is a guy to put on your ticket, right? So,
All right, fair enough. All right, moving on. We got Aliashkab Khizriev, 14-0 favorite, coming in against Makhmud Muradov, 26-8. I think Khizriev grinds him out. I think he's going to out grapple him. I think I like the overs because I think Muradov will be okay for the first round or so until he gasses. So I like Khizriev and over 1.5. Still won't be a huge play. Like none of these are huge plays for me, but I do think he out grapples him. What do you think?
I'm getting a little cold feet in Khizriev here. I've been watching tape all week, and as the fight progresses, he seems to tire out a little bit, but he always gets it done. That's the one thing. He does have that Dagestani heart or Russian heart or whatever you want to call it. Like, so the boy does know how to wrestle, and the boy does have a good ground game. But Muradov's not a fish out of water on the ground either. He did get tapped out 4 times though in his career. So I mean, I'm getting cold feet on the fight, but at Khizriev, I just checked before we came on here. He's +333 or +332 as a sub. That's like really one of his win conditions, to be honest with you. I can't really just see him sitting on in guard. I can't see him sitting on this guy's back for 3 rounds. Like that doesn't make sense, right? So Tallulah got some good punches in on that last fight against him. He is very hittable, but once it got to the ground, I mean, I know Tallulah's a fish out of water on ground, but is Muradov any better? He's never wrestled really until that last fight against Barberena, who's 2 weight classes higher than what he usually fights at. Before that, I've never seen Muradov really wrestle to that extent at all, or show any ground game. It's always been some sort of murderous power puncher, right? So I don't know if he's turning over a new leaf or what it is, but yeah, Khizriev sub +333 or 332. It's one of his win conditions, that's for sure. I can't see this going to decision.
If they both gas.
If they both gas, yeah. But then the wrestling is still there for Khizriev, right? Like the wrestling's always going to be there. I think he's the better wrestler. So
Yep. No, agreed. All right, moving on. We got Viviane Araújo coming in at 12-5. She is the plus 300 underdog, taking on Natalia Silva. 16-5-1, coming back at minus 400. Silva's the better striker. She's a better fighter. She's quicker. She's younger. Everything points to Silva winning this fight. I think Viviane is very tough, though, and I could see her hanging in there for all three. Yes, maybe Silva starches her, maybe, but I think Aroujo, hangs in there. And Silva decision minus 135 from a minus 400 to a minus 135, maybe. Otherwise, you're stabbing the KO, but I wouldn't bank on the KO either. So I think I like the decision line. Wouldn't be going huge on this women's fight. What do you think?
I like the decision line too, and I think it went down to minus 125. To be honest with you, so Silva 1.5, and this one's only is only minus 210, so that's gross too, right? So you might as well go for the decision at that point. The only person she's ever starched in the UFC is Victoria Leonardo, or Leonardo, whatever her damn name is. She stinks. She's absolute trash. And even Teresa Bleda, the girl she finished in the third round, if it wasn't for a liver kick that was well placed, and like that would have went to decision as well too. Right, so it's not like Natalie Silva is starching all these girls in the first round. It's a progression of volume, and we've seen Viviane get out volumed before, but stand right there. We've seen her get punched in the face, and last all three rounds against Grosso, against Maya, against other girls of probably better caliber than Natalie Silva. We don't know that yet because she's so young and she looks so good. But I mean, her step up with Andrea Lee, like, how do you beat Andrea Lee? You take her down. She didn't take her down. She outstruck her. She volumed her, and Andrea Lee is tough, right? So you know that kind of knew that was going to decision too, right? So I feel like it's the same fight. Aroujo is just older. I think she's like 37, right, or something like that. It's kind of old for a lady at this time, right? You don't see them go this late in their careers, right? So this is her last hurrah. I guess if she beats Natalie Silva, she's back in it. I don't see it happening because I feel like it's going to be 3 punches to 1 punch, right? It's going to be boom, boom, boom. And Natalie might get hit with something, maybe, but she's also shown a propensity to get the hell out of the way and not get hit. So aside from a liver kick again, this probably goes to the decision. I'm probably going to parlay it too. Ugh. But yeah.
I think Natalia actually uses her kicks very well,
Yeah,
whereas
she does.
Viviane is mostly a plod forward box.
Yes, I agree. She has a good low kick, Silva as well. And then when you get low and then you sneak in that liver kick and it could always happen, right? Who knows? And Viviane, she slows down. We know that.
Yep. All right, that brings us to our featured fight. It's a strange one. We got Randy Brown coming in at 17-5, minus 250 favorite. I think that's a little bit wide versus Muslim Salikhov, 19-4, coming back at plus 200. I know me and you have different thoughts on this fight, but I can't help but think it doesn't go the distance. I just think Salikhov gasses too hard. So I think Salikhov's live for the knockout in the first, or he's just going to gas out and Randy will finish him late. That's me. The fight not to go the distance is plus 100. Is it great? No, but I think that's how I'm going to play it. And then I know you make absolutely a good argument that, well, Salikhov gasses and Brown doesn't always go for it. So that could result in it does go the distance. Totally makes sense. I get it. I'm just going to go with Salikhov's getting older and older. His cardio looks worse and worse. I'm going to say that he does probably get finished late. I hope he wins early. Full disclosure, I hope he does pull it off early. But I'm going to play it doesn't go the distance. Plus 100 will not be a parlay piece, will not be a big ticket. What do you think?
Well, Randy at minus 250. I know it's not the greatest odds, but I having a 9-inch, or I think it's 8 or 9-inch reach advantage. I don't see how he doesn't stay on the outside and like pick this guy apart. It just befalls me. Like why would he engage? Why would he get into the pocket with this guy? It makes absolutely no sense to me why he would. So, and he's shown pretty decent fight IQ in all his fights. His problem is, again, I tell you, he doesn't go for it. There's no volume. He's shooting less than 80 significant strikes in 3-round fights, like a lot less. So I like Randy. I like the decision at plus 135. I also want to count that decision. You want to counter that decision a little bit. It's to sprinkle the round 3 prop at plus 1100. So you might want to take Randy, go decision, and then throw $5 on the plus 1100. So just in case he gets finished late, like you said, so which could happen. I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibilities. There's definitely not an early first round. There's no spinning back fist. Randy's not getting knocked out by Salikhov. Spinning back fist bullshit. I don't see that. And Randy won't one punch this guy because, he's got a head of iron and he gets punched a ton of times. I saw him take it from Nicholas Dalby, right? And granted, I think Nicholas Dalby doesn't punch that hard, but still took it. He took it like a man. So plus 1100 in the round 3 prop and then counter it with a decision prop, whichever one you like better. Do what you want with it, but that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, I like those late props. I think they're very live. All right, that brings us to our co-main event. It's going to be an absolute banger. We got Hanato Moicano coming in at 17-5-1. I'm surprised he is the favorite at minus 175. And he is coming in against the hard-hitting Drew Dober, 27-12, coming back at plus 150. I mean, if you guys know Drew Dober, which I'm sure the majority of you do, this guy comes out guns blazing. He will not make this a point fight. So it's him or it's you. Somebody is going down in this fight. I could see it being either of them. I think we're in for an early knockout. I do think Moicano is the better fighter everywhere. I think he's more technical on the feet and he's way better grappler. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think Drew Dober is going to find that chin because he doesn't have to worry about the firepower coming back at him so much. So I like the Dober KO at plus 220. I think he's going to get it done. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I do not see it lasting very long. What do you think?
Yeah, the unders suck. That's for sure. My problem with Moicano is that he's got to put more variety on the feet. He has a good jab, though. Like you said, he has a very technical jab, but there's nothing that comes behind the jab. It's just a jab. In the wrestling, I'd be surprised if he didn't shoot right away, right? Like, that would be the thing. Like, you can't stand in front of Dober. Like, I just don't think he can handle what's coming back at him. So you got Dober by plus 220 for the KO. Moicano sub is plus 135, but I know I said there's not a lot of meat on the bone earlier in this card, but like, I feel like that's his win condition, though. Like, that's his win condition. He's not knocking out Dober. I mean, this can somehow, remember all those fights we think are going to finish, end up going to decision. I mean, I guess that's the only way this screws up is if these guys tire out. But, like, when's the last time I remember Dober going to decision was what? Maybe Brad Riddell? And Brad Riddell took him down 5 times and Dober got up 5 times, right? So I feel like if Moicano takes him down 5 times, he's not getting up 5 times. He's not even going to get taken down 5 times. He's going to get taken down maybe once or twice and then, subbed. It's a different Brad on the ground couldn't go anywhere with anything. So, but if Moicano has 5 opportunities to take down Dober, you're not telling me there's not going to be a sub or something like that. So maybe the under. I don't know, but the under 1.5 is sketchy at this weight class, right? So I'm not I got the 2 bet. I have the 1 bet like you have, the plus 220. I got the plus 135. I like the submission here. I know there's not a lot of meat on the bone, but I feel like it's his condition to win. And I feel like the KO is Dober's condition to win because I don't see a decision.
No, definitely not. I think it's going to be a really fun one, and I don't think it's going to last too long. And that brings us to our main event. We got Roman Dolidze, 12-2, coming in at plus 137, a slight underdog, taking on the favorite, Nasruddin Imavov, 12-4, coming back at minus 163. The 2 props that stand out to me are Dolidze submission plus 500 because this guy is a world-class grappler, probably the best grappler in the UFC or in that weight division, like submission grappling, not wrestling, but submission grappling. He's got to be one of the best. So plus 500, I think if he gets it down, he can absolutely submit him. And if he doesn't get him down, I think he's a tough guy that will make it to the cards and lose a decision. So the Imavov decision plus 280. I might play both. I might play the submission plus 500 and the Imavov decision plus 280. Those are the only 2 things that really stand out to me. The only other thing I could see is maybe Imavov stops him late if he gasses out hardcore. But he's a tough guy. He's a very tough guy. So I just don't think I'll be betting on that. What do you think?
Well, Imavov decision plus 280, I like it. Imavov plus over 1.5 is plus 105. Imavov plus 2.5 is plus 150. I like all those. What's it called? Over 2.5 is minus 160. Over 3.5 is minus 105. And then over 4.5 is plus 150. That's like either guy wins. Dolidze by decision is plus 700. So if we are like where we are with the fight and how it goes, I mean, if I'm going to play Imavov at plus 280 for a decision, I'm going to counter it with like a sprinkle on Dolidze by decision in case I get screwed by a judge. Plus 700, the sprinkle only has to be $5 to cover your bet, right? So, I mean, if you're going to go that way, if the over, I feel like the overs are very live. Dolidze only wins early when he gets guys down and taps them out. Or if he fucking lands like one of them hooks of his or power punches. But like Imavov's like very what's it called?
He's never been chinned. He's elusive. He's never been chinned.
Right, exactly. So he's defensively sound, good head movement. And what's coming back at Dolidze isn't quite the same power. I mean, Imavov hits more of volume and kind of slows down as the fight goes on. So if you rewatch that Sean Strickland fight, like he started off okay, but the gas tanks start to go down and down and down. Dolidze, on the other hand, we love his grappling, but he never shoots any fucking takedowns. Shoot a goddamn takedown. I sat there for that Marvin Vettori fight last time. Don't ask me how he shoots no takedown. How did we know he finishes Jack if Jack didn't shoot that takedown, right? Does he finish Phil? Yeah, he finishes Phil Haas. What am I saying? But still,
the jab finishes Phil Haas.
This guy didn't shoot the takedown on Phil. Phil shot the takedown on him. His grappling is world class, but his IQ is not. His volume kind of shit. Imavov volume is good, but Imavov gasses. So does Dolidze. I don't know. All I can say is I think the fight goes farther than shorter. If you really want to play a side, I personally like the over 4.5 because I don't see any of these guys finishing each other unless Dolidze gets on the ground. Do you see Imavov shooting takedowns? The only reason I think he shot takedowns on Chris Curtis was because Chris Curtis was such a good striker, as opposed like a technical good striker, as opposed to Dolidze. So, I mean, do what you want with that, but I think the fight goes low. I think that's the best lean I have is the fight will go longer. Maybe I'll ladder all that. Starting at the 2.5 and just ladder it, I bet on the 2.5, bet on the 3.5, bet on the 4.5, right? So,
yeah, I liked your. I think it was Imavov over 1.5. I think that already brought you to plus money or something like that.
Yeah, over 1.5 brought you to plus 105.
I like that one because I think the longer the fight goes, the better it's going to be for Imavov. I think Dolidze has to get a submission. I can't picture him winning a decision. But
the thing is that he doesn't look like he's gassing as the fight goes on. It's just that he slows down. Imavov actually looks like he's gassing, right? So like that's the weird thing about Roman is that he slows down, but he doesn't look tired. So it's weird, right? I don't know. That's a tough one, but I like the overs more than anything. I do like Imavov too as well. I mean, just because the volume and because it's going to be overs, and I think volume reigns supreme. And like we said, man, if Roman threw some more takedowns into this mix, this would be a completely different story and a completely different breakdown. But he doesn't.
Honestly, I like both guys. I hope one of them separates and puts on a good performance because I think a good performance by either of them puts them both in the title picture, like in the picture.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, guys, there you have it. Those are our best bets and props that we see for this card. Please like, subscribe, drop us some comments. Let us know what your favorite bet of the card is, and we'll see you soon for the pay-per-view card, and we'll be back with our A game for that one. All right, guys, have a good one.